Greetings. Introducing Voices of Festival, a brand new podcast series from the International African Arts Festival, created to keep you connected as we count down to our 55th year of culture, creativity, and community. Each week, hear directly from the artists, dancers, musicians, vendors, and community members who make this festival an unforgettable experience. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube for Voices of Festival. Celebrate the culture, feel the rhythm, be part of the journey.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Peace, peace, peace. How are you today?
Peace. Sakina, how are you?
I'm doing well. Everyone, welcome to Voices of Festival. We are here honoring women. This is Women's History Month, and we are here to honor our mothers, our mothers of the East, we will call them. And I'm here accompanied with Dr. Sengun Shabaka, who is the director of the International African Arts Festival. So we will get into it. I will begin with our roll call our ancestral roll call and honoring those who came before us. So I will start off with giving honor and giving praise by saying Ibaye, Mayentanu, Ibaye, Mama Kahumba, Ibaye, Baba G2 Wusi, Ibaye, Brother Abubadika, Ibaye, Mze Moyo, Ibaye, Asada Shakur, Ibaye, Salima Moyo Smith, Ibaye, Baba Stan Kennard, Ibaye, Nana Dinidulu, Ibaye, Dick Gregory, Ibaye, Kuja Bandele, Ibaye, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, aka H. Rap Brown, Ibaye, Viola Plummer, Ibaye, Honorable Babatunde Akowe, Ibaye, Baba Abu Bakar, Ibaye, Mama Stephanie Weaver, Ibaye, Brother Bernard Kinsey, Ibaye, Mama Abimbalo Wali, Ibaye, Baba Alukashe Wali, Ibaye, Baba Heru, Ibaye, Baba Paua, Ibaye, Nisa Van Zandt, Ibaye, Jamia Van Zandt, Ibaye, Nana Kweyao Ajipon, Ibaye, Baba Canute Bernard Jr., Ibaye, Baba Robo Jumatatu, Ibaye, Mama Amanisha, Ibaye, Mama Lati, Ibaye, Mama Bird, Ibaye, Brother Howard, Ibaye, Yusuf Iman, Ibaye, Dara Iman, Ibaye, Tolivo, Donna Cumberbatch, Ibaye, George Aponte, Ibaye, Baba Kwame Ishangi, Ibaye, Baba Michael Olatunji, Ibaye, Atiba Cord, Ibaye, Brother Al Van, Ibaye, Brother Sam Penn, Ibaye, Brother Sunra, Ibaye, Freddie Hubbard, Ibaye, Roland Kirk, Ibaye, Walter Bowe, Ibaye to all of ancestors who have fallen before us, who have struggled before us, who have walked the path that we walk now, whose shoulders we stand upon. We give honor and we give praise to all of our ancestors. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, it is an honor to give praise to our ancestors. Um, and if we were at festival, we do this at our Egun ancestral tent. where all of their pictures hang, and we pour a libation, because if it was not for them, we would not be. And we also honor their presence. So thank you. Baba, I will ask you to introduce our mothers to come on.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Sakina, Sante Sana. Okay, so we are very fortunate to have two of the early pillars of the East here with us. Mama Nassoma Jumatatu and Mama Akilah Mashariki. And the East Sisterhood was a core group like no other group of sisters in any organization. Well, outside of the Kawaida experience, because I would say the sisters in the Kawaida experience were strong sisters, and they had and wielded a lot of positive power and influence in the organizations. And so these two sisters were functioning early on from the onset, pretty much, of the organization. So,
Mm-hmm.
Sister Akilah, welcome, and Sister Nassoma, welcome. Karibu, Habarigani,
Welcome, welcome,
Asante.
welcome.
So we appreciate you all coming on to share your experiences with us, with our listening audience, and to talk about the kind of powerful work that you all did, and along with the brothers, to bring about a better community and world back in the 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So could you, each of you, take a little time to share with us your pre-East history? What were you doing before you came to the East? Nassoma, you can go first.
Okay. Well, before I came to the East, I was I grew up in Brooklyn, in Bedford Stuyvesant, before it became Do or Die Bed-Stuy. I went to school in a multicultural, multiracial school. Bedford Stuyvesant was a multicultural, multiracial, multi-religious neighborhood. We we were free as children to go to the matinees on Saturday at the Kismet Theater. My sister and I, 8 and 6 years old, every Saturday. Nobody bothered us. We got along with our classmates. We got along with our neighbors who were from the West Indies. Some were from the South. Some were from Puerto Rico. Some were from Italy. So my point is, we had a multicultural neighborhood, and we
Mm-hmm.
grew up feeling great in Bedford Stuyvesant. And I was a church girl. I went to Cornerstone Baptist Church. I was in the choir. I was in Baptist Training Union. And I had never experienced any form of direct racism growing up as a child. And when I talk to some people, they say, "Oh, you had." I said, "No, I didn't. Everybody has a story, but that's my story. We got along with all the neighbors. We got along with everybody." And it wasn't until the 60s when we started hearing about lunch sit-ins that we realized there were some problems, because my parents would take us south every summer to visit our relatives in the South. We would go to their farms. We went anywhere we wanted to go, and we never experienced any direct problems. So then in the late 60s, like I said, when we started hearing about sit-ins and things of that nature, one of our Sunday school teachers came and said, "We're going upstate New York, and participate in a sit-in because they don't let Black people sit at counters. Now, we were in Brooklyn and we were going to Woolworths, and nobody said we couldn't sit at this counter. We were doing everything. But there was some parts of New York where Black people weren't allowed to sit at the counter at Woolworths. So we went on a trip and we supported them. We didn't have any incidents, but we came back. So I don't want to belabor that, but it's just to give you a snippet of the fact that when I grew up, I didn't know all of the issues that we had with our people. My parents weren't talking about it. Like I said, they took us down south and they never told us anything about any issues. But when we learned about what was going on, it was on the news. And then when my teacher took us on a trip, our Sunday school teacher took us on a trip to see that Black people in New York, upstate New York, couldn't sit at the counter at Woolworths. It was mind-boggling to me.
How old were you then?
What it was I was like 15, 14.
15, okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of an eye-opener. And then later on, and the later 60s, when the East opened up, then, well, after I grew up, my husband, Robbo, my king, my hero, my warrior, who is now an ancestor, he introduced me to the East. But I wasn't a member of the sisterhood in the very beginning. I was going to the weekend programs. So I was now looking for more information about our people. And I met Brother Herman Ferguson, Brother Paul Williams, and they were heads of the Republic of New Africa. And they said they were having a nationalist meeting in Detroit, Michigan, and they were looking for representatives from the community to go. And I had to go throughout my neighborhood and have people sign a list to say that I could represent them at this Republic of New Africa meeting. And I was so interested in it because now that I'm learning about all of these things that were going on with Black people, and then I had my introduction to the East, I'm saying, wow, these people are serious. They're talking about getting land in the States and setting up a Republic of New Africa. And I felt like, well, now that we know and we're aware, or I know and I'm aware, this would be ideal.
What year is this you're talking
1969, March of 1969.
Okay.
And we went, got on the bus. I went, Robbo didn't go. Got on the bus, we went to the meeting at Reverend Franklin's church. And while we're in there, they had armed guards and whatnot, but that was part of their protocol. While we were in the church, in the meeting, all of a sudden, we were stampeded by police, coming in, shooting, knocking people on the ground. Babies are crawling on the floor.
Shooting?
Yes.
Yes, they raided the church. That was Aretha Franklin's father's church.
Yes.
What?
I have the article, but it's old, but I don't think you can see it.
I didn't know you were there with that. I didn't know you were at that event.
Yes.
That
and
confrontation.
I always tell this story because I'm like baffled, because when I saw a little baby crawling under the pew and they're shooting, it kind of blew my mind. But I didn't know, exactly what to do, because they hadn't told us anything about we might get raided. But I guess they expected it because they were armed.
Well, they didn't expect it. It was just
right.
They knew what they were dealing with in terms of the environment and the need for self-defense.
Right.
So let me recap. This was a meeting in Detroit for the new Republic of Africa headquarters. Like
the
we
Republic
were
of New
having
Africa.
a public forum to organize for the new Republic of Africa, and it was raided by police. Off the top, they just came in with guns shooting.
Right. And I always tell this story because a brother that I didn't know, because I went with a group of people. I didn't go with anyone, just the group. And a brother who had on a sharkskin suit and a Marcel threw me down and covered me. I didn't know him from Adam, but he didn't look like the brother that we thought, the revolutionary. But in his sharkskin suit and his Marcel, the waves that they used to wear, he threw me down. He said, "Stay down." And I always remember that you cannot judge a book by its cover, because I had never seen him before and I have never seen him again. But I always remember that. And we were all hauled off to jail. And they said a policeman was killed, but they said the fire started from the church, which was not true. And we spent the night, and Judge Crockett said, "Let my people go." And that's how we got out, and were able to get back on the bus to go home the next day. And then after that, and they stole my pocketbook, so I never got my pocketbook, my ID, or any of that back. And then the next thing I know, the FBI is showing up to my house. So I was just like, what is going on? And when did all of this start? Because like I said, nobody was talking to us about it.
Wow.
Okay, well, this is really intriguing. But let's hear from Sister Akilah, your pre-East history, and we'll come back to your involvement in the East, Nassoma.
Oh, sure.
So, Mama Akilah,
Yes.
what were you doing before you came to the East?
Before I came to the East, I guess I would start. My father was a Garveyite. So as a young person, I spent a lot of time, a good amount of time, following him to meetings and listening to, the talk and all the things that were going on at the meetings that the Brotherhood met. And so when I got out of high school and started going to college, in high school, I met a brother who was very, very militant. His name was Stokely Carmichael. And we went to two different schools. He was at Stuyvesant, I was at Julia Richmond, but we were brother and sister schools. So that's how we met. And we went down to Howard University together. So that's how I got involved with the whole revolutionary concept. I was a member of the SNCC organization, and I was on at least 4 of those freedom rides. I was definitely on the one that went to Selma, that was blown up in Selma. And they said it caught on fire, but it was a bomb. It was not just a fire. But we were lucky. They had all the sisters in the back of the bus anyway, so we all got out the back door and got back to Howard with a lot of difficulty because we were chased up and down the road and all of that. But by the time I got back to Howard, they had gotten our parents on the phone because it was such a horrible experience. And my dad was on the phone with me, and he said to me, "Miss, the next bus you get on better be headed for Brooklyn. Don't ever get on another bus unless you have my permission." At which point he took me out of Howard. I finished my sophomore year. That was my sophomore year at Howard. I finished out my sophomore year. My junior year I spent at Long Island University, where I met Les Campbell, who later became Brother G2 And we did a number of things together. G2 and I tried to start a chapter of SNCC at LIU, and they were not having it. So we decided to make it a chapter of CORE. And we invited Brother Malcolm to come and speak. And he did. He came to LIU and he spoke. It was jam-packed with all kinds of people at that particular speaking. So I spent most of my time before the East even started, just dealing with the beginning of the revolution, and so that was mostly how I got involved with the East through Brother G2 and ultimately his brother.
Okay, so you all are both involved in pre-East and what you might say beginning of a post. You're in the Black Freedom Movement. You're doing activities in the Black Freedom Movement, and for the sake of clarity, let me say I'm dividing it into two parts: the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power Movement. Y'all are coming in on because we say the Civil Rights Movement is 1954 to 65. Y'all are coming in a little into the early stages of the Black Power Movement,
Right.
65 to 68, 9. Now, Akilah, I want both of you to talk about how did you come to the East? But Akilah, you just mentioned you and Brother G2 bringing Brother Malcolm to LIU. What year was that?
That must have been, I didn't even think about the year. That must have been
Post
in
Nation or
early
during when he
60s, huh?
was he in the nation? Still in the nation then?
Yes, he was still in the
Okay.
nation.
I think you said that was 62 before. I
Yeah,
think it was
about
62.
that.
Yeah. Okay, so Nassoma, how did you come to the East?
Well, like I said, Robbo brought me. And when I first went, it was just for the weekend sessions, the jam sessions, the music, the drumming and whatnot, which it was just, that was mind boggling to me too, because I had been going to the Fox Theater to see the Miracles, to see Marvin Gaye, and enjoyed it. But, you would see 5 big acts in one show. And I had never been to anything like the East. So it started off strictly as almost like a date night on the weekends. He was there working during the week and whatnot, but I was working on the job, doing my thing. But when I came back from Detroit, I was so traumatized, I didn't even want to go back to work. So I started sewing dashikis for the ball players on Robbo's basketball team, the guys he played ball with. I started doing things, braiding hair and whatever I could do to make a little money and call myself an entrepreneur. But I was really traumatized. I did not want to be, in the system anymore. So I was trying to do everything in my power to stay out of it.
Yeah, so you had PTSD. And
Yes,
that's real.
yes,
I mean,
it is real.
that was a traumatic experience,
Yes,
because
Yeah,
indeed.
they
I
came
could
in there.
only imagine.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
brutal. They came in there, and if people weren't prepared for them, probably would have been a lot of people brutalized and killed,
yes,
but they held them at bay. They
yes,
did not get past those brothers, and they met resistance. They met some serious trained firepower. And
yes.
so people did, like Omari Obadeli did serious time for that. Some brothers did serious time for the officer that was killed, but
Yes,
that
Patsy.
was self-defense. That
Right.
was pure self-defense. And a lot of people don't realize it. That was Aretha Franklin's father's church.
Yes,
That was
yes,
that was
and
his church. They went in there. Aretha Franklin was pretty much a star then. It
right,
wasn't like
right,
people didn't know who that was.
Mhm.
right. They
So,
knew. Mhm.
all right. So you're at the you're coming to the East, and now you're beginning to get involved. So, what are some of the things you're doing now?
Well, as far as now that I'm at the East, the sisters, um, they just embraced me because I did not go through the initiation like
Mm-hmm.
some of the sisters did. But I said, like, once I don't even know exactly how it happened, but all of a sudden I was just in the mix of everything. And the sisters embraced me So I was his sister, and that was just it. But if they asked me if I went through an initiation, no, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
What was the initiation, Mama Akilah?
It, the initiation was it was a group initiation. We all stood in a circle and repeated a vow to the east, and they did they connected us,
Mm,
each one to the other, and it was a blood initiation where they just pricked your finger, and you
mm,
held hands with someone next to you, and that was the flow of blood that made us family.
Mhm.
So,
interesting.
Akilah, how did you come? You already involved with the founding person. You interfacing with G2. You interfacing with Herman Ferguson. You're interfacing with Eliua Ferguson. So, you were at the pre-East meeting. So, talk about that.
I was actually at the meeting. No, I take that back. I was not at the meeting. Um, I was in the kitchen. The brothers were meeting at G2's house on when he had an apartment on St. John's Place. And the brothers were meeting in a back room somewhere, and I would and Job and I were together at the time, and so Job asked me to come and prepare some food for the brothers. They were having this meeting and so forth. So I was in the kitchen eavesdropping, and when G2 announced to the brothers that he wanted to start this organization, he didn't have a name for it yet, but he knew that he wanted to do first a school to educate. Um, he was a teacher, so and had gone through that whole Ocean Hill Brownsville thing, and so he had
Community
decided he
control.
was leaving the Board of Education and started his own school,
Mm-hmm.
Sasa, and so that was the first part of it, and Sasa was moving right along. At the same time, Job, and Seitu Dyson had an organization. I was the only female in that organization as well, Brothers and Sisters for African Unity. So he tried to combine several different organizations, one that was being run by his brother as well as this one that he was putting together to help
Mm-hmm.
to educate the young people who had dropped out of school. Some of them were in ASA, the African Students Association, and so it started as he talked about a school, but he also wanted an organization, and that was the announcement of the East when he announced to the brothers that he wanted to do this organization called the East, and then he got into the hierarchy and how it was going to be staffed and all of that, and I went back in the kitchen. Um, so that was the beginning of my involvement in the East. Of course, G2 asked me to teach a class in the it was at that time it was called the Evening School of Knowledge. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't Uhuru Sasa yet. It was the
Yeah.
Evening
Mm-hmm.
School of Knowledge because most of these young people would come in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught a class. In fact, Brother Adiyemi was in my class. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And I taught that class, and then when the evening sets, when we got the East building, I worked on cleaning and clearing out the East building. It was flooded. It was, that building, 10 Claver Place was a mess. So
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of sisters and myself and the brothers, we all got in there, cleaned out the place, and the brothers did the painting and the fixing up and whatever. And we got the kitchen together. And Mama Lottie and a lot of us, we just did the cooking for the Friday night jazz sets,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
the weekend sets, and that was the extent of my involvement at that point until I was one of the few women in the East who worked full time outside of the East. Most of the
Wow.
sisters worked in the East during the day. I worked outside during the day, and then I worked at the East in the evenings. So that was what caused me to be able to think of ways when I started having my children, I needed daycare. So one of the ways at one of the East Sisterhood meetings, it was agreed that we would start a daycare where we would each take turns taking care of the children. We would take our time. The sisters who worked in the East would do their jobs at the East, and then they would take a day or two at the daycare center. Because I worked outside of the East, I did most of the cooking for the children. So I would bring the food every morning. That had to I would cook it at night and or early in the morning and bring it in to Brother G2's house, which is where the daycare first started. Mama Amanisha and Brother G2. And then so that was the beginning of Imani Daycare Center.
Wow.
So for some historical clarity, we should note that the original school was started for high school students because they had been pushed out. Many of them joined their involvement in the Ocean Hill-Brownsville struggle. And from that, and they were the core, ASA was the core around the formation of the East. Those brothers and sisters, Shaka, Maliki, Jamibi, Adeyemi, and Sia. And,
all my students.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was younger than some of them.
Yes. Well, that's the same thing that happened with me when I was at secondary. I was like, they were my age, you know. But they were the backbone of the early years. And so the school would start because there was a demand from parents to say, well, if you're doing that with the older kids, what about for the younger kids? And that's when I think in the winter of 70 that the school started for all ages. And then daycare was also kicking. And I would say that the daycare center was a powerhouse of an educational experience for the children that went there, because they came in there maybe a few weeks, a few months old. But when they left at 3 years old, they were reading, writing, doing arithmetic, had some working basic knowledge of Swahili. And so, and those students, they would, in the Husas itself, the students had academic excellence fused with historical, social, and cultural knowledge. And so they came out of Uhuru Sasa and they were flying. You know, they were flying when they came out of Uhuru Sasa. So the school,
one of our Uhuru Sasa graduates, one of the first Uhuru Sasa graduates that was Atiba Cord, went to Cornell, was accepted at Cornell. So that's the caliber of education our kids got. And they were well prepared for the world.
Yes.
Well, also, I know we had, what was that, Kamal and Mawia's daughter. She went on to become a doctor. She was also one of the early students from Uhuru Sasa. And so that class was small, but it was powerful. You know, we had to kind of curtail the secondary because there were so many standards you had to meet, and we didn't have the resources. But the students that left that high school were very powerful, and then even the ones that went from our junior high and went on into public school were very strong. So,
and Uhuru Sasa gave rise to a number of independent Black schools. Throughout the country.
Yes.
So can I ask, when did Wusi Shule start?
Well, UC Shule was started, I guess, let me see. I'm trying to think how old my kids were, because one of my daughters two of our daughters went to where you see shoelace. So that was about
what, 73,
1980?
4? That late? Was it that late?
Yeah, because Kaya and Coffee went, and they were maybe 10, 12.
I think it was earlier than that, Akilah. I think it was earlier
Where you
than
see shoelace?
7. Yeah, 80. Because I think they were already in existence in the late 70s. Yeah,
They
I think the late
started
70s.
upstairs over in the armory.
Where you see shoelace? I don't know if that was where you see
Yes.
shoelace.
Where you see shoelace started
So,
upstairs in the armory.
well, question: if you had Yahuru Sasa, how did where you see Shule differ from Yahuru Sasa?
They had a different point of view. They also had a different uniform.
and
But
they
they had a
weren't as
different point of view. They were more geared towards book learning.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot. You heard Sasa did a lot of book learning, but not as much as Wayusi Shule and some of the other schools that spun off from Uhuru Sasa.
Sasa was much more culturally oriented also and active as students. They went on marches, they protested.
But
they
all the schools
were more
did that.
you could say paramilitarily trained. They marched and drilled through the streets when they were going on trips. It was a different experience.
And knowledge.
It was a whole different experience.
And common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Yes. So so let's talk about continue with your roles at the East, please. And the role of the women at the East.
We took on a lot of roles, some seen, some unseen. We took on a lot of roles. I worked for IBM, so I was the computer repair person for a very long time.
Oh my goodness! When computers began, you were there before the computer. So, were you responsible for installing the technological aspect of the East? Wow.
No, I did not. And I think Segun, you were probably more involved in that aspect than I was.
No, not me. I wasn't a tech savvy person.
Well, you had the Black News piece, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we brought, I think, I say brought in some of that equipment, but that was the beginning. Some of that was the beginning.
I serviced your equipment a couple of times.
Yeah. So, but that was pure purchasing of the technology, not installing it.
The only reason I got involved with the technology was because I cared about it. I liked it. It was something I enjoyed doing. I worked for the inventor of the technology, but my role in IBM, I was human resources. I was an industrial psychologist. So I wasn't in the technological end of it, but I was always in their business.
So Nassoma, talk to us about a day at the daycare.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because when you were talking about Uhuru Sasa, one of our assignments, well, Robert got the assignment, I agreed. We went to Memphis, Tennessee, and started the Uhuru East.
I remember that.
The umbrella school of Uhuru Sasa. So we went there and we established the school. We found the garage. We cleaned it up. We painted it. We did what they did at the East. Brother Mzee and Mama Kaumba were responsible for sending us the books and all of the learning materials for the children that we enrolled in our school. And then we had the bookstore, and they sent us jewelry. And so we had the afternoon program. So we started, we had, we didn't have the Imani daycare, but we had Uhuru Sasa. So students from 3 and up could come to us. And we were there teaching and doing the same program that they were doing at the Yuhu Sasa in Brooklyn, because I
So,
would teach them all of the Swahili words and sing to them she she kule she karisa she. So we were giving them the same education that our children were getting in Brooklyn.
and let's talk about that education, because a lot of people, I notice people talk about the East and experience, but they don't talk about the philosophical foundation of the East, Kawaida and the Nguzo Saba. And so
Right,
could y'all talk about that? Some people seem like they get amnesia when it comes to talking about that, but that was the foundation. So
right.
when I joined the East, my what did you call it? Worker's manual was the quotable Karanga.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so that's what I got as a worker's manual, literally the quotable Karanga. And
Right.
so the Guza Saba was throughout. They did it in the morning,
Morning.
day, afternoon. They were judged by their interaction with their peers, and each other based on the Nguzo Saba. So, I mean, talk about that. Could y'all please talk about that?
Right. Well, I
Well,
know while we were dealing with the school, that was part of every day. We did the pledge. We sang praise the red, black, and the green. And when we sat down for our meals, we would say, Sifa Zote Zinde Kwa, Mumba, all praises due to the Creator. And we would go through it all. Um, we would do the 7 Harambe. So we instilled all of the principles of Kawaida in the learning process every day. So while you're learning your ABCs, while you're learning your colors, while you're learning math, you're learning your cultural
Mhm.
as well.
well,
And
the Job, G2, and several of the brothers, along with the Mary Baraka, were attended the first Kwanzaa in San Francisco.
mhm,
And they brought it back, and the next year we
Me,
celebrated
LA, in
Kwanzaa
LA.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
mhm,
in LA. First Kwanzaa in LA.
It was
yes.
it in LA? I thought it was in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
I was in LA. Yeah, yeah.
It was in California.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes. So
So,
I,
well, go ahead, Baba.
no,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
Sakina.
I
You
wanted
go,
to ask,
please.
how long was the school in existence, and what led to the end?
Well,
It was inevitable. It still hasn't ended, as a matter of fact. Um, I'm still watching the results of your Sasa
Mm-hmm.
play out among our children and our grandchildren right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it really hasn't ended. The teachings are still going on. We are still celebrating Kwanzaa. Mama Nassoma is the head of the East Sisters, who still carry on Kwanzaa every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so it hasn't, the East hasn't really ended because we're still brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We're still together. We're still doing a lot of things. We've moved into different spheres in life, but
Mm-hmm.
we always come together for festival. We come
Mm-hmm.
together for Kwanzaa, and we're still family.
It's still family.
And
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add, Amanisha was the first person I heard say, we're still an institution without walls.
Yes.
mm-hmm. Yes.
But I really do
Mm-hmm.
wish we had some walls.
Yeah. Well, we'll have walls again. We have to
Mhm.
have walls again.
We do, because the children of our children, our Black children, have need that. They
Yes,
need it. They need
They
yes.
those
really
walls.
do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are the times, these are kind of, we're in the times where that gave birth to the East.
Yes.
We there again. And so imagine where we would be if we had kept our structure together, if we
Right.
had those walls, and we would be more able to meet these challenging times because, I mean, these people are trying to take us back. Not, I said 100 years until I heard Mark Rubio's speech to his European allies. They're trying to take us back 150 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. So talking
Well,
about not even reconstruction, but post reconstruction. You know,
And,
when the suppression was at its peak.
mhm.
You know,
mhm.
so
And I say walls are needed. I remember on one of the podcasts when Sister Sakina said, now we have all this information. We have the red, black, and green. We have the kawaii. And what do we do with it? And I
Mhm.
said, I grapple then and I grapple now. And then the other sister on another podcast mentioned, I forget the resort, but it was a place for relaxation without humiliation. We need it. We need
Mhm.
it.
mhm,
And I wish we had it. That's why I said walls would be nice.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that's
Walls
what
would
the
be nice.
East was, a refuge. It was
Yes.
a refuge,
Oh, yes.
and
Mhm.
Well, walls are also confining. Understand, there are those. First of all, like I said earlier, Uhura Sasa was the beginning of schools all over this country. So the walls are wherever we make them. They don't have to
Mhm.
be just where we are, but
Mhm.
they're still around, and the walls are still embracing um, a lot of young people who have spread throughout the world. We've got kids in young people in Japan who were students of Uhura Sasa who are bringing all of that teaching out there.
Mhm.
There are some in England too, in England, and so the walls are good, and we need that to continue to bring the younger ones through and
Yes.
do the teachings that need to be done. But the children that have come through those walls, come out of those original walls,
Mhm.
are making great inroads all over the world.
Yes.
so
Yes,
Yes.
that leads
I
me
agree.
to the next
Mhm.
question because we talked about time at the beginning. See, I tell you, you don't want to restrict yourself, you know. But talk about. I want you to talk about, like your most significant experience and the role of the woman in the East journey. So let's kind of look at some of those areas. And Sister
Well,
Akilah, you
well,
were part of an extended family. Talk about that experience, please. And how was that inside the East
I
different
don't know why
from?
you're using the past tense. We're still a family.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, all right. But
mhm.
I mean,
We
in the
are still a
walls
family. In fact,
when the walls were there.
well, they're spread our children are spread all over the country. So in between the end of May and the beginning of June, we're attending 5 graduations from coast to coast.
Hmm,
Wow.
So
hmm.
yeah, we're still a family.
Mhm.
We get together and go on to have our little family reunions every year. So we're still a family. The experience itself
Mhm.
was enlightening. Um, it was about building family out of necessity as opposed to just because you want to. We had to learn to be family in a way that we had not been brought up. So in the beginning, there were trials and errors, but to this day, as a family, we are still very tight, very close.
Mhm.
I live far away from Job and Muslima, but we're still stay in touch on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just been an excellent experience, and of course, our children intermingle. You just never know whose children are whose. because
Mhm.
they're siblings. They're all
Mhm.
we intentionally lived in the same house because we intentionally wanted to make certain that our children grew up as siblings and knew each other as siblings. And yeah, they do fuss and fight and they do get back together and they always are supportive of each
Mhm.
other. Um, we're still a very tight knit family. Whenever you never know whose kids are whose because they wind up being with different people, different parents
Mhm.
wherever.
Mhm.
So it's been an excellent experience for us.
Mhm.
We're all still good friends. Um, I don't know that it would have been any different if we were not a blended family.
Mhm.
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 So I just want to thank the both of you for sharing your experiences with the East and just community building, institution building, Black freedom fighting, and really, you shared some jewels tonight of, just history unheard of.
Mhm.
And, I am honored to be here in your presence. So thank you.
Mm.
Thank
So
you.
so let's
Mhm.
can we
Mhm.
allow them to make closing remarks? Any closing
Yeah.
remarks?
Mhm.
Nassoma, Akilah?
I just want to thank you for having me. I didn't anticipate the depth of the conversation, but I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you all for bringing this experience to light, and I hope to see a lot more of it.
Mhm.
All
Um,
right. Thank you. Sister Nassoma?
Well, I would like to say that I appreciate the platform. And I didn't get a chance to say that once we came back from Memphis, I said one of the most impactful things for me was the way the sisters at the East welcomed me back, embraced me. I worked in the kitchen for a while, and then they approached me to, they needed a director for Imani Daycare because the director at the time was leaving. So I got a chance to direct Imani Daycare, which was one of the loves of my life. Mama Akilah's children were there. Brother
mhm.
Segun's children were there. I mean, and I look at those children today and I'm so proud of them. And I feel
Mhm.
so special that I was a part of their early developing years.
Mm,
And
Mhm.
so to me, the East Sisterhood is like very embracing. And like I said, if we have differences, we're free to discuss our differences without leaving, oh, we got an attitude, we're not talking. Because I've had people say, oh, nobody can tell you. I said, no, we have people who can talk to one another,
mhm.
listen to each other, disagree, and still go on and get the work done.
That's so
Because we
powerful.
needed
The
to
Mhm,
East
make
sisters disagree, but we were never ever disagreeable.
right.
mhm,
And when we needed to raise funds for the school or the organization, we would bake, make clothing, make the uniforms, do the tie dyeing, and we all came together. And I
mhm,
Mhm.
always feel that is a special, special feeling. And it's a special group of sisters. And I feel blessed to be a part of them and to remain a
I
part
say
of
I
them.
shaded that.
And they asked me
mhm.
to be the president of the East Family Kwanzaa organization 30 years ago. And I tried to retire and they won't let me retire. So I'm putting that out there. If anybody else
Absolutely
wants
not.
a position,
Absolutely not. We've been doing this for years and years. Is it 30 already? It was not
yes,
summer?
it is. Yes, it is.
So I salute you
She's
both.
keeping
Yeah.
count.
Hmm. I salute you both. Y'all are the epitome of true womanhood, motherhood, and this is great to honor you from Women's History Month
Oh,
because the work that you have done is just um it, it's priceless. It's
and
priceless.
we
And
have more
all
to
the
talk
jewels that
about.
you have. I know you do. We may need to do another segment and have you guys on
Oh,
again,
definitely. Yeah.
because
We
you
only
know
touched the surface.
we only touched the surface. I'm like, you came out the gate, blazing with the stories, and I'm like, what? That happened? Oh my
And,
God.
and
There is a
I'm not
book.
sure you have
There is
many
a
more.
book
yes.
about
Hmm.
the East Sisters by the East Sisters.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
Well, I'll
Okay.
have to get that.
So again, we're
Hmm.
gonna have to do a part two on this one. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, for sure, part two. But we want to again thank you all for coming out. So um, we're gonna remind people of uh, upcoming events. One is this Sunday at Restoration. That's March 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. We'll be hosting a forum with attorney Esmeralda Simmons
Mhm.
and Professor Roger Green entitled
Hmm.
Mamdani and the Black Community. That's Mayor
wow.
Zoran Mamdani and the Black Community and
Hmm.
expectations and possibilities. And so we're going to be talking about what does that mirrorship have in store
Yes,
and what's
everyone
the
needs to be present.
possibilities to for the Black community. So please come
Hmm.
out 4 to 6 at Restoration Plaza. You can find more information on the festival website, which is www.iaafestival. www.iaafestival. Also, we have libation coming up on June 7th, also at Restoration's Billie Holiday Theater.
Mhm.
People, we're taking vendors, so please check the office. We're trying to staff the office, but we are taking vendors, and you can go to the website. You can pick your spot. We're at a new venue. We're at Lincoln Terrace Park from July 3rd through the 5th. That's Friday, July 3rd, Saturday, July 4th, and Sunday, July 5th at Lincoln Terrace Park. So please, if you know any vendors, let them know that they can go to the website and register for the festival.
Hmm.
Also, we have a drive for 55.
Mhm.
That drive for 55 is really $55. We've been in existence for 55 years. That is the International African Arts Festival. And those of you that have been coming out for decades, we're asking you, and those of you who are new and want to do something Black for a change and stop supporting the plantation system, is to make a donation of $55 for $1 for each year that the festival has given you the powerful experience of sisterhood, brotherhood, familyhood, and cultural enrichment. I think we deserve $1 for each year.
Mhm.
$55, okay? This is an institution that you've heard some of what we come out of and what we've done through the decades in our early years.
Yes,
And
sir.
if we had the resources, we could get another brick and mortar building and do similar projects that we did at the East. And the sisters just touched on it uh, because we was involved in so much. We had school in the day and we were doing community organizing at night and
Yes.
sometimes during the day.
Mhm.
So, it takes education, organization, and resources to do that work. And so the festival is in need of your support.
Mhm.
So Drive for 55 is really $55, not just 55 years that we've been existing, but the drive is to get $55 from 2,000 people. That's the drive, okay? So it's not a lot. We're not asking for $2,000 from
Mhm.
55 people, but if you could give us a multiple of 55, we'll be glad and happy. But
Hmm.
and we'll even take a division of. But I think everybody can do at least 55 or a multiple of. Okay, so please support the festival. Again, the information is on the website, and we hope that we can count on you to keep us going another 155 years
Mhm.
until we can actually just be like on the continent. We just have these festivals every month, some
Right.
places on the continent. You know, they celebrating the culture and history every month. And that comes even out of ancient Kemet. They would have a festival every 30, 40 days, I believe. Okay? So we need to get deeper into our history. The festival should not be unique. Just like we talked about schools being all over the country, there are festivals now that are all over this country as a result of the International African Arts Festival. We are the grandparents of festivals in this country, and we're probably among the oldest in the country as a Pan-African festival and the world. And so you got to keep it going. All right. So,
Right. Mhm.
Sakina, I'm turning it over to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Sengun Shabaka, Mama Akilah Mashariki, and Mama Nassoma Jumatatu. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
please
you.
like,
Okay.
comment, subscribe, share. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your festival stories. So thank you again.
Oh.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.